Hello beautiful people, welcome back to my channel Wake Up Bright, where I share all the things that help me live each day a little brighter. I'm April Lauren and I am on a journey to lose 200 pounds. In this video we were talking about my first half marathon experience. The highs, the lows, all of it.
Summer 2020, I started sharing my journey to live each day a little healthier, a little brighter, and to lose weight at all. My goal was to learn how to eat healthy and to live each day a little healthier, a little brighter. I started working on my fitness and every day just doing a little more than the day before. And fall 2022, I ran my first 5K and loved it. So when my husband got surprise orders to Hawaii, I wanted something exciting to focus on and sign up for a half marathon. This is the culmination of several months of training and moving preparations and a cross-country road trip.
By the time we actually got to Utah, we had one day to acclimate. We got to Utah, celebrated a birthday, and went to sleep, and then we woke up, we had Thursday, and then the next day we were gonna get up early and we were gonna leave. But that was not quite how it happened. Happy marathon vlog, half marathon. We're not having the best of times. It's way past time to head back down to Moab. So we came through Moab on our way to my sister-in-law's. Now it's time to go back and my husband is sick. We believe he's got some food poisoning. I just had food poisoning a couple weeks ago. It's not a fun time. I'm waiting on my sister-in-law. She's gonna go down with me so that way I'm not alone. Me having to pick my packet up in the morning, I'm just a ball of nerves. This is not what I had envisioned. Not what I had envisioned at all for my first race, but
as soon as my sister-in-law got home from work, she and I headed out. And so we drove the 4 hours down to Moab, checked into our hotel, which I got this specific hotel so our pups could come. And it was a delightful experience. I'll share more in the next vlog, but we got there so late, there wasn't a lot open to eat. We grabbed a quick bite and then I did recovery things. I really underestimated or overestimated, I guess, my ability to bounce back from a road trip across country and underestimated the time it would take to do that. But we got to Moab and I was so excited for my race.
Not long after I shared my half marathon ambitions, I got the most encouraging message from this sweet friend now in Utah. And as we talked, she was like, if you're ever out here and you want to run, then I'll totally run it with you. Or maybe I asked her, I'll have to go back and look. I don't know if I was just like, hey, I'm gonna be out there, I'm gonna run if you want to run with me. I'm not sure which way it went down, but I had a friend doing this half marathon with me and I didn't meet her until race day. And so our original plan was to catch up when we did our packet pickup. I didn't pick my packet up until race day morning. So I'm running super late. Sweet sister-in-law is going to make sure I get to my race. I'm so anxious. We drive to this one spot and you load up in this bus, and there's tons of buses, and they bus you all the way up this canyon and then they drop you off, and it's just people and porta potties. That's it. And the start line. And so everybody unloaded, and then I felt so overwhelmed. I was a ball of nerves. My mind was going 1,000 miles a minute, and I'm like worried about things that haven't even happened yet. And then we took some pictures, and the whole time we were having good conversation, and I was learning so much about just half marathons and running and the culture of running. It's like almost time for the race to start, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I ran, and then I ended up in the very back of the line, which I didn't really want to be in the back of it. That's where I belonged. But I kind of didn't want to start out there just because of the time cap, and they actually gave a window because the start line when you're in the back is further back, so there's a hard time like restriction for this race, and I knew about it. I also knew that it was like in that flex time that would be good for me. My friend was so encouraging. She's like, you know, you're just gonna run your race, like where you are, like run the race you need. She's like, I'm here to support you. And she was with me every step, every single moment of the way, and it was so special. Before I go any further, I want to thank today's sponsor. Thanks BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Whether you have life changes and are experiencing a lot of stress, or just feel like you're having a rough time and would like some tools to better cope with your current experience or to work through things, therapy can be a very powerful tool. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and accessible, regardless of where you live or the insurance that you have. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding therapy easier because it's online. You fill out a few questions and you submit it, and then BetterHelp can have you matched within a couple of days. Then you can start your sessions remotely, so you can do it from anywhere. I started using BetterHelp after moving to North Carolina. I'd gotten to this point with YouTube where if I'm going to continue to share anything on YouTube, I need to partner that with counseling. I moved to North Carolina, no one was taking new clients. No one. There was several months waiting for some, and I was so lucky to come into contact with BetterHelp, and I really loved the experience. I found a counselor and was able to look at their background and their specialties, and then I was able to meet with them knowing that if we didn't click, if it wasn't someone who was easy for me to talk to, I could switch. BetterHelp was able to match me with a counselor that just exceeded all of my hopes and expectations, and that put me in a much better place to go forward. And going forward, from the time my husband got those surprise orders through our cross-country trip, my half marathon experience, it has been such a comfort to have. Whether it's you have anxiety or depression, or you're being bullied, or you just need a different perspective, therapy is something that can give you tools to approach life in a little different way. It is fairly easy to get signed up and matched with a therapist. There is the link in the description below. BetterHelp.com/April Lauren. Again, that is BetterHelp.com/April Lauren. And you can click that link to sign up, start your assessment, and also you'll get 10% off of your first month of service. I want to thank BetterHelp again for supporting my channel and for the service that you provide. I am so grateful. Now, let's talk about the race. So I signed up for the Canyonlands Half Marathon in Moab, Utah. When I first signed up, I didn't realize that there was a time cutoff, but it wasn't like maybe 3 weeks in that I was reading more carefully and saw basically the race starts up this canyon next to the Colorado River, and just the pictures I saw, this majestic red rock, the canyon wall shining so bright as it reflected the rising sun, like it's so beautiful. And I was just like, done. This one, the dates line up. We'll be in Utah for a few weeks before then, which didn't work out. But I was so mesmerized with this race, and standing at the start line, that beauty really faded, and I was just surrounded with my nerves and excitement, but also like fear. Worry, and excitement. It was a little chaotic in my mind, and then race gun fired and we were off. Starts with running up and then you loop back. When we ran back, there was like a, what is it called when there's a group of cars? Caravan. A caravan of race, like everything that was set up at the start, they followed the back. And because I was just barely faster than the pace, literally as I was running, I could hear the brakes squeak and all of the sounds. And so I was trying so hard to be in the moment and enjoy the race. And as I'm slowly moving along and I'm embarrassed because I'm huffing and puffing, all of these things whirling about in my mind. And then I would hear the brakes as they slowly roll behind us. And I'm like, oh no, I've got to get away from them. I've got to try to get away from them because they're gonna like scoop me up in the slow bus. I didn't do any hydrating until we got past that first really challenging for me time marker, which was at mile 4, and then next was going to be at 7. Aid station, I just barely made the time cut off. It was rough. I had already started rock running. Instead of just running, I was like, okay, I need to walk and run. And my friend was so sweet. She was encouraging and she's like, okay, we're gonna run to there. And my mind was, I was just swirling, kept putting so much pressure on myself for the experience to be different than what it was. Passing that next aid station, I started getting little cramps and I was trying to ignore it. I was pushing so hard.
And all of my pushing just made things worse. It made me more stressed and more anxious because I was playing these negative thoughts on loop in my mind and focusing on all of the wrong things. I was way more consumed with the people behind me than I was taking in the beauty around me. But we passed that next aid station, and somewhere between that aid station and the next,
my calves completely seized. I was mortified and in so much pain. I was like trying not to cry. I got so overwhelmed with emotion. I got on the edge of the road where it was slightly like an angle. I put my heels on the low side, and if I moved at all to straighten my feet, my legs, everything was seizing and it was miserable. So I ended up being pulled off the course, and Amanda went with me. Then once I had time for the electrolytes to sit, we got back out, and there was a break where you got off of the road and you got onto this trail. And once we got onto that trail,
all of my anxiety and the fear gone. I already felt.
So we got out, we ran, we walked, we enjoyed the beauty. I realized at that point, going from where we started running without the caravan squeaking behind us forward, that I didn't even look around to enjoy the beauty of where I was running, which was the main reason I wanted to run this race. It's so magical up in this canyon, and
it's unfortunate that I allowed myself to be stuck in this negative thought loop, stuck on all of the things that I couldn't control, that I didn't do any of the things that I could control. The storms I essentially created and the things that I neglected led to these horrible leg cramps, and then that point of failure was my worst case scenario. It was the one thing I didn't want to happen, being stopped, being pulled off course, and yet I essentially made it so.
The worst thing had already happened, and so with that disappointment that I had felt also came relief.
Forward, I enjoyed the race so much. Everything turned around so good. I looked around and absorbed the beauty around me and enjoyed my friend, and still had cramps, but I continued forward.
Everything is a learning experience, right? So
as we continued along, I expected there to be no one at the point the race ended. I thought it would just be us meeting my sister-in-law and Amanda's husband, and I was happy and surprised, and just, it was wonderful that one of the race creators was still there. She came out when I had the leg cramps and helped us, and it was just special and wonderful, and it felt so sweet to cross the finish line with my friend Amanda. Even though this was not my half marathon, it was a great experience.
I failed. I wanted to run a half marathon. I did the training and I didn't complete my half marathon. I'm so grateful I had my friend with me to encourage me to push through past the end to the finish line and to not rob myself of going through and gaining the experience. Even though I failed, I didn't quit. And I think that that's really important. I would have missed out on so much if I would have pushed that race. The lessons and my takeaways are so powerful. Easy when we don't measure up to what we want or we don't achieve what we wanted to take it further than is necessary. Instead of failing at a task, we judge ourselves as failure as part of our identity. And that's just because I failed at my task doesn't mean I am a failure. We can do anything step by step, bit by bit, little by little, and it's okay if you need more time to keep going. We might not be able to do it in our timeline in the exact way we want, but each of us are capable of doing whatever we put our mind to as long as we are patient and put in the work. I am so grateful for my coach, for my husband, for my sister-in-law, for everyone, for my family, for everyone who encouraged me along my way. So grateful for the experience, and I want to encourage you that even when you don't achieve what you set out to, that's not the end. The end doesn't come until you stop. As long as you continue to move forward, you continue to progress, then the story hasn't ended, and you just keep going. You push through, you learn, you change, you evolve. You really can achieve anything you set in your mind that you want to achieve.
When I started sharing my story, I couldn't walk to my mailbox without immense pain. Slowly, day by day, I walked a little further and did a little bit more, eventually being able to clean my house without having to take extremely long rest breaks. I am grateful for my progress, every bit of my progress, every lesson that I've learned. And while I haven't ran my half marathon yet, I've gone farther than I thought I could, farther than I thought I would. And I know that I'm going to get there. I'm grateful to be here, moving, enjoying life, continuing to live each day a little brighter, and continuing to work on my weight loss, working on my fitness goals. And I know I will run my half marathon.
I am so grateful for you. Thank you for watching my half marathon experience and vlog, and we're going to be in Utah for a couple weeks, and then we continue our cross-country road trip headed towards San Francisco. So I look forward to seeing you in the next vlog.